You guys are trotting through the woods. The road starts kind of getting like a little bit tight with like the woods on either side. You guys have been traveling for a little more than a half hour. The woods start getting a little thicker and thicker. It looks like a little after like half hour, it starts getting a little less dense. It starts getting like darker and darker. It starts getting like a lot colder. Autumn is more kind of setting in. The head knight, you see he puts up his hands. Everyone kind of stops their horses as you kind of pull back on the reins of your horses. As he goes, we'll set up camp here. As it looks like he pulls his horse off towards the right-hand side. There's a small opening in through like the trees. As he pulls his horse off into there, the Drow then pulls his horse up there also. And everyone else kind of follows suit. When the knights get down to start a fire, it takes flame. It looks like everyone starts kind of like sitting down like on their bare fur. That night goes pretty quick, you fall asleep. Morning comes. You start waking up. You stand up to a full stretch. As you look over towards the rest of the team, giving you like small chit-chat here and there. Poon stands up behind you as he gives a loud yawn.
Put myself together, jump on my horse. Alright, let's get out of here.
Starts kind of getting onto their horses and start getting out towards the road.
Asa, thank you again. I'm looking forward to this journey.
Holding on the reins of her horses, as she kind of looks over towards you, kind of smiles and gives you a good nod. Glad our paths have crossed. We've kind of benefited each other.
Yeah, but your life should be more enriched now. I'll smile.
She starts laughing.
Yes. Thanks to me.
Joanna goes, we have a little bit of help with this too, right, Poon? She looks over. As you see Poon kind of smiles down and goes, I do help a little bit around the house also, guys.
Poon has added a lot.
Down starts chuckling, trotting away down the road, down and doing kind of talking off behind you guys. Raphim the Drow starts hanging off behind all the way in the back. Two Imperial Knights in front of the caravan of you guys.
Down to where Raphim is and talk to him. Try to gain a little bit of knowledge from him. What he's experienced and what his transition has been with living in a community of Drows and now being surrounded by all these humans.
He unties his helmet as he ties on the side of his horse, trotting next to you. You guys go back and forth. He goes, I know many people that kind of have the same kind of thought process as you do. He goes, it seems like you're very eager to getting yourself into trouble. Not all of it is trouble. You have a positive outlook. You have to be careful with that positive outlook because it could mean your life. Because I've never been that much positive about anything, but I'm still alive. Because you should stick to your little islands here. Because out there in the world, there's far worse things than everything that you've seen on this island.
I don't know. I could choke on a chicken bone, right?
You should have little elflings around you. Settle down with a wife. You should have little ones running around for you and tending your farms when they get older.
But I want humanlings.
You have a choice, my friend. Out there on the open sea and all the other islands out there are pure chaos. Trust me, because I've seen the worst of it. Every time I lay my head down at night, I have plenty of visions that go through my head of everything I've done in my life. Those visions keep coming back. Some of it's quite entertaining, but some of it, yes, it does come out haunting.
Do you regret being tied in with these knights?
No, because actually, this is kind of strange because I've been surrounded by hatred and people that had pure hate running through their veins. Because I actually pulled myself out of that. And greed kind of helped me do that. But once I found out what greed was and what it can do to you, then I started living my life. It's like your friend down there. He's very tied down with opposites. His greed and everything else. He's a flapping mess. You see? he goes to his side and pulls out a wineskin and starts drinking from it. Just kind of hands it over towards you real quick.
I'll take a sip.
It's real strong, but it actually has like a berry taste afterwards. It's like really good.
I'll hand him the one I stole from Dallin. I'm like, oh, you should try this.
As you see, he kind of smells at it and kind of sneers at it a little bit. He gives it a small taste. He's oh.
Not to your liking.
No. He goes, you know what that was made from? He goes, it was a very, very small gnome. He goes, I hate gnomes. He goes, but this little gnome pleases me.
Oh, Choco.
He makes very good wine. He takes his wineskin back as he goes to tasting it again. I will go to 2 other islands and then I'll probably reach that gnome again. And I'll have that gnome make me about 4 wineskins, and I'll hand that little gnome probably about 25 gold, which I know it's worth probably about 175. Therefore, I'm pleased. You see, he smiles. Tell me about you, Tannic.
I come from a family where there was a lot of little elves running around. Now I'm ready to
Have more wine.
be away from that for a little while.
He goes, as am I, from just the beginning of that story. Kind of like laughing back and forth. You guys travel off toward like midday. Captain kind of stops. He goes, we either camp here or we keep going until later towards the night. He goes, either way, it's still going to take us about a day and a half.
Let's rest.
As you see, everyone kind of just goes, ugh, yeah, and starts tying up their horses. You go over toward your bedroll, you pop it out of the side of the saddlebag, down onto the ground. Poon grabs his and throws it on the opposite side of the tree. The rest of the party sit down, gather around that campfire. It starts getting pretty late. You kind of put your back up against the tree and start kind of dozing off.
Test my alarm.
Towards the middle of the night, you hear your alarm start to kind of go off, real like low frequency. When your alarm goes off, it usually is very loud and alerts you abruptly. It's the oddest thing, you've never witnessed it before. You start kind of opening up your eyes as you start looking around the team and stuff like that. It looks like everyone's kind of like out of it. Towards your left, it looks like there's Poon. And over towards your right, you see one of the Imperial Knights. He's completely snoring away.
Pull out my sword.
You start looking around. It seems like a little oddly darker, but it looks like everyone's completely out. And you know one of the Imperial Knights usually stays up and paces back and forth and watches. I mean, just out of their like militant background.
I'll start listening.
Over to the tree, right to the right-hand side of you, you can kind of hear like a really kind of like low, like to a dim breath. Your hair kind of sticks up in the back of your neck. You look over as you see Raffin's face. You see he's crouched down right next to you as he's looking straight towards like the fire. Tannic, I believe something trails you. Kind of got like an evil type of grin to his face. I believe something has been watching you. You and I are awake because we are not affected. You see he kind of grins towards you.
There is a drow that's following me.
Oh, there is. What is his name?
Her name.
It was her. Because most female drows are stronger and more powerful magic-wise than male drows. You hear up against behind the tree where you're at. As you look over, like holding up against the tree, Dune just like staring at the ground. It's just an odd look on his face. As I see Raffine kind of looks over towards Dune, as he's kind of like investigating. You start looking over towards one of the Imperial Knights. You hear his armor, his metal armor, sliding up against the bark of the tree. The bark of the tree is like ripping off as backsliding against it. As you see, he's sliding up more and more. As it looks like he starts going up the tree. As he just kind of stops towards like about 4 foot off the ground. Arms and legs are dangling, pinned up against the tree up there.
I'm jumping up, sword in hand.
You see Raffine looks over towards you as he starts looking around towards everyone else. Show yourself, because we obviously know it's someone playing tricks on us, so let us see you. Pushes back his cape. Reveals the handles of his swords on his sides. The other knight, then his back pushes it up against the tree. The captain. You see his back hits the tree and grinds up against it. You see bark rips off the tree. As he's lifted up off about 4 feet off the ground, completely asleep. You see his sword falls out of his hand even and just hits the ground.
For someone who has been watching me, you sure know how to hide and not face me face to face. You're a little girl that likes to hide behind its weak, pathetic thugs. Your towers are a joke.
Down as you see his back hits the tree. As you see he starts sliding up the tree as if he's completely asleep. Where Aza's at, there's these roots kind of coming out of the ground, going around her feet. It just pulls her out into the road. Like very quickly. You see Raphine hisses as you see he grabs one of his swords out. As you hear one of his swords break out of the sheath. As you run out, you kind of dart out there real quick. As you look over towards the center of the road, you see she's actually dangling upside down with nothing holding the rope, but the rope's up high, just holding her from her feet. You see her arms kind of go down, the backpack kind of slides off her back and hits the ground. As you see Raphine holds out his right sword. He goes, technically we shall be on our toes. He goes, whatever this is, I can't even see her. You look back over towards the rest of the team as Drain starts slowly getting pulled out on her back.
I'm running over to Poom.
You go up towards him.
I'm gonna just start shaking him. Like, wake up!
Roll a 20 side. As you see Poon, his back is almost like a magnet hit to the tree and slowly starts kind of going up it. As his head kind of drips down, Raphine starts walking over towards you. You hear him utter a couple words. You see a light appears in Raphine's hand. He gives like a sneer and throws it up to Poon in the chest. You see light emits out in front of him. Beautiful dancing lights come out, dancing around in front of his face. Both of Poon's eyes open up quickly. You see his hands kind of come together, like looking around, and he's kind of shaking as he looks right down towards you. You actually have this screaming going through your head. You can see Amethyst's eyes in your own mind as you see a half dragon and half of Aza's face is seeing like kind of pushed together as you hear Poon starts yelling as both his hands emit with like electricity and slam together as he yells his own name. Whatever magic's holding him up against a tree completely releases him. As you look around real quick, on top of the trees, you actually see the witch assassins slowly pulling people up on the trees. Whatever Poon did with that light, it revealed them. Out in the middle of the road, near Raphine, you can see a female Drow. Beautiful amethyst eyes. As you see, she's floating and she's holding up the end of the rope towards Aza. You see her eye kind of gives like a bright, like shocked, like at seeing what happened when Poon did that. You see Raphine goes, "There you are!" As you see, he starts chuckling real loud, his one sword in his right hand. As his left hand flicks out nothing, two swords zip out of his sheath and dart right towards her. It looks like they crisscross right through her real quick. As you see, she gives a scream. The rope drops as she falls down to the ground. You see the two swords zip through the air. They start kind of turning around right back down towards Raphine's hilt. Both swords zip around and come back down to his sheath as you hear them go both re-sheath themselves as he starts giving a full-on like run towards the Drow. You look behind you, an assassin drops out of the tree blinded from Poon's slap. He falls down right in front of you.
Well, I thought I'm just gonna hit him. 13. 11.
You cut him across his side. Two like short swords come out as he zips him out real quick. As he holds him up, you see his eyes are still kind of weary about what's going on. Poon holds up his right hand. He shouts out his name again. Poon! The guy's back hits a tree and you hear crack. Guy cracks around the tree and his bottom half still kind of stays there and flops to the ground. Poon starts yelling towards the other assassins, throwing off this white light, hitting the assassins down from the trees towards the roadway. You see Aza hit the ground, pulling back her hood, a short sword in her right hand. Looks kind of weary. She's like looking around. Raphine runs up towards the Drow. He grabs her off by the collar and holds her up. He holds up his blade as he starts laughing. As he goes, "I fought worse than you." She then turns into a black smoke, emits away from his hand, swings it, goes right through the smoke, grumble, going, "Argh!" Behind him, it looks like she comes up. She looks over towards you, like, "You!" She got cuts, like she's bleeding, like pretty bad from it. Her fingers grip together, running towards you with a loud, like, scream. Raphine, hearing the scream, he goes, "Oh, there you are!" Rings off of her right hand, emitting two actual spikes come out of it. She holds up her claws as she swings off towards you. 6. Claws cut right through the front of your chest. As you feel the cut kind of go through your skin. You swing towards her as you go right through the mist again. Behind her, Raphine gives a swing off towards her. Goes right towards the top of her as it goes right through her. She goes to swing towards you, but her left hand crushes, it looks like a small crystal, as she goes to black smoke again.
Swing behind me.
As you do a blind swing behind you, roll a d20. You miss. Ducks towards it. Towards you. Jolt out of the way. "Going to pay you, half-breed, from taking everything we've had." Lunging towards you. As you go to swing through, give you a miss. She swings towards you. You take 3. Raphine goes to hit him. You swings. It looks like he hits her towards the top of her shoulder. As he drives her towards a tree, you see she screams, falls down with a wound. Rafine moves his left hand. His green sword zips out of its side and punches right into the tray, locks her clothing and the side of her skin like into the actual tray. You see she's kind of like moving her arm, kind of trapped there. She holds a crystal off in her one hand, drops down to the ground. You see she's like trying to grab towards it. Alright, you swing.
6.
You pin her down to the tray. Can't really reach the crystal anymore. Behind you, you hear something running up there pretty fast. As you turn around, you see an assassin darting towards you, like 2 daggers out. And you roll, and I roll an ish. Takes a dagger and pushes it right in towards the side of your arm. As Rafine looks over, as he starts chuckling, you see he swings. Looks like the assassin's pretty quick as he dips both shots. As he is
Yes!
As you swing, you hit the guy towards the top of his chest, like folds backwards in ways. As you see 2 blades zip out of Rafine's his hilt. As you look over towards the thief, you see there's 2 blades dead center of his chest. As you see, kind of like fumbles backwards, but his daggers fall out of his hand. As he drops to Rafine's blades. Go over towards, she's not there. Your sword's just kind of stuck in this tray. Down on the ground, you just still do see the crystal.
What color is it?
It's a black crystal.
The same as the other ones?
No.
Pick it up.
It looks like your team was awake, and they were pretty much attacking all of the other assassins that were around. As Aza comes up to you guys. Was that the one that kicked me through the portal?
Yeah, but it's a good thing we have Rafine here because she's strong.
You see Rafine kind of pat you on the shoulder. Looks like everyone starts kind of gathering themselves. Something like, what is going on? As they start standing up. Poon starts kind of filling them in.
Like it's all part of the witch tower. One of the head witches, they're working with Drows.
Draina goes, it's also a part of our past now. I don't think we have to worry about that one anymore.
I don't know about that. She's obviously upset with me.
Dallin goes, well, there's a lot of people upset with you, my friend.
Thanks to you.
Welcome to my world. Ben walks over, he starts helping Aza pack up her horse. Poon looks over, he goes, thanks for waking me there.
Look, that was Rafine.
And so he looks over towards Rafine and he goes, thank you. You see Rafine goes, I figured once Tanik was slapping you as much as he was, you were quite important to wake up. Poon starts chuckling. He slapped me?
I figured it was the only time I would get a chance to do it.
He goes, you are correct. He gets up on top of his horse. The rest of the members get up on top of their horses and stuff. It doesn't take you guys too much longer, as you can actually see the large cobblestone walls attached towards the harbor. All the ocean there.
Isa, what's the name of this town?
Is Nor Harbor. You guys go up to the front ironwood large gates. There's 2 guards out front of it. They look off towards you guys as you see they hold up their hands and smile. Blue Knight Captain holds up his hand. You see they both start opening up the doors.